Hello all. Today we are tracing Tripura's journey from NFHS 4 to NFHS 5 in terms of its performance as far as child malnutrition is concerned. How has the story unfolded overall? Actually, Tripura has seen a worsening in the levels of malnutrition, even though Tripura's performance remains far above the national average. There is a sharp rise in the levels of child mortality. Now, that's the area of concern. And this has happened in rural areas as well as in urban areas. And in all the three segments, that is the neonatal mortality, the infant mortality, and the under 5 mortality. Now, that doesn't augur well. On the anemia front, the situation has shown deterioration, though we have always put this caveat that there could be issues of plausibility of data, particularly NFHS 5 anemia data. There is also a considerable variation in the performance across the districts, and therefore it is important that we map this journey in terms of districts to stress the need for a decentralized planning within the state. So the state is not a monolith, even though it's a small state. We have to look at different segments. And while doing so, we have used the two websites, nfhs4.indiagis.org and nfhs5.indiagis.org. The viewers are welcome to visit this site. It's user-friendly. There is a user's guide as well. They can do their own analysis, draw their further conclusions. So they are welcome to do this. If we take an overview, you will see that Tripura's performance, as we said earlier, is much better than the national average. But we see an increase in stunting, which is worrying. We see an increase in wasting as well as severe wasting, which is again worrying. And there's a marginal increase in underweight. If we look at the underweight first, now we see almost fairly similar data, similar pattern and a similar data range. But now what has happened in the NFHS 5 round, the number of districts have practically doubled. Now this brings out the regional nuances more clearly, but you will notice that North Tripura, which was in the red band, remains so even after the split. And we have used the same cutoffs for NFHS 4 and NFHS 5. We also see that the Western Tripura, a largest district in the NFHS 4 round, has now been split into number of districts, and you can see the variations within the district. Same thing about the South Tripura. The data range, if you see, has gone from 19.0 at the lower end to 20.4, which is very marginal, and from 30.7 to 31.8. So we can say practically the data range is similar. When we look at stunting, now the nuances come out more sharply. We see a mixed pattern. West Tripura now shows a split where the new West Tripura district has moved into the yellow band. The lower part, Sipai Jhala, has moved into the red band. We also have concern related to Khowai and Dhalai district. The data range has sharply worsened. Now from 32.5 on the higher end, it has moved to 47.0. Now that's something which is certainly a matter of worry. At the lower end, it has just gone up marginally. Let us look at wasting. In wasting, we see actually a mixed picture. We are seeing a worsening in the North Tripura side. The number of districts have here again doubled, so they bring out the nuances. South Tripura shows a mixed picture. This is interesting, but overall, the data range has moved from 14.2 to 10.6, which is good, but at the upper end, it has moved from 23.3 to 26.9, which marginal, but still one should worry about it. When it comes to severe wasting, again we see a overall worsening. Again we notice North Tripura is a consistent underperformer, and I think the state needs to look at it more seriously. We again notice a reduction in levels of severe wasting at the lower end. From 4.3%, it has gone to 1.5%. But at the upper end, it has moved from 12.1 to 16.4. This could also happen because, as we said, the number of districts are doubled. But this should be flagged. Let's come to the worrying concern of mortality. Now, here you notice that the neonatal mortality has gone from 13.2 to 22.9. Now, this is alarming. The infant mortality rate has gone up in the rural segment. It has gone up in the urban segment. Overall, from 27 to 37, that's not, again, a good sign. And under 5 mortality, though it has gone up marginally in the urban areas, in the rural areas, again from 36 to 49, I think that's something that the state government should be concerned about. And this is slightly surprising for Tripura, which earlier used to perform fairly well. Anemia story. Now, if you look at the children's data, 6 to 59 months, we see a sharp worsening, so much so that the NFHS 5 data range has actually moved beyond the NFHS 4 upper end. So NFHS 4 was 37.3 to 52.0. NFHS 5, the lower end begins from 52.8 and goes all the way up to 81. One will be little cautious about this, and we again flag the issue that there could be plausibility issues. But even in the relative terms, we have given 2 maps on the NFHS 5 side, so readers can judge it for themselves. We see a similar worsening when it comes to pregnant women in the 15 to 49 years age group, except in North Tripura and Gomti. We also wondered that with this scenario, does Tripura still have a district which is closer or closest to the WHO reference curve? And we chose West Tripura. We tried to see if they can match the WHO standard. West Tripura may be able to do it, but you can see from this curves. And we have shown this kind of slide in other state analyses also. The short point is that the green curve, the green bell-shaped curve, actually shows how things ought to be as per a WHO reference population standard. And the red curve, which is typically towards the left side of the green curve, is what shows what the actual situation is. In many districts in the country, the red bell curve is almost flush with the WHO reference curve. Those districts can actually draw satisfaction that they are close to matching the WHO standard. But West Tripura has some distance to cover. And West Tripura also needs to take a look at the emerging obesity on the weight to height curve, the middle curve, where you see on the right hand side there is a red strip which has gone beyond 3 standard deviations, which is a sign of emerging obesity. So that's also something which Tripura needs to be concerned about. So what is the story of Tripura overall? It has seen a worsening in levels of malnutrition. One must concede that its performance remains far above the national average, but then the increase in malnutrition is worrying. North Tripura remains a matter of particular concern. The sharp rise in the levels of child mortality, it is certainly an area of concern. It has happened in the urban segment, though Tripura, the urban segment is small. Worryingly, it has happened in the rural segment fairly sharply, and in all the 3 age groups: neonatal, infant, and under 5. In our opinion, this needs an immediate attention from the government. On the anemia front, the situation has shown deterioration, but we will flag this issue by saying that NFHS 5 data needs a closer look. Closest to the goalpost of matching the WHO reference curve, West Tripura can do it, but can this happen by NFHS 6? I think time will tell. We leave the readers with this thought and move to next analysis. We will not be doing further analysis of other remaining northeastern states, Arunachal and Nagaland, because the availability of data issues there in respect of all districts. So we will now move to closing this by taking 2 or 3 more states which are remaining. And then probably we will look at some new ways of studying this problem and a new series. Thank you very much.